Hey guys, it's Elephant here. Today we're going to see this anime of fantasy about a guy living in a different world, named Life in a Different World from Zero. This boy is named Subaru. He was buying food in a store not long ago, but he then travels to a different world when he opens his eyes. Here, he gets hit to the ground by 3 bandits coming to rob him. Luckily, a silver-haired elf saves him. The elf tells him that her badge was stolen. In order to save Subaru, she loses the sight of the thief. Attracted by this beautiful and kind-hearted elf named Satella, Subaru decides to help catch the thief. When they are looking for the thief, they meet a lost girl. Though their time is running out, they still help the girl find her family out of kindness. Unexpectedly, they get some clues of the thief. Her name is Furuto and she is living in the slum. They come to the slum to ask about where Furuto sells the stolen goods. When Subaru just opens the door, he finds a giant's corpse. Before he can react, his stomach is cut open. As he is dying, he sees that Satella is killed by the same person as well. When he opens his eyes again, he finds himself back to the street and his wounds all disappeared. Thinking of Satella just being killed, he hurries to the slum but finds the dead giant who turns to be the agent of selling stolen goods. Old Man Ram is unexpectedly alive. Subaru doesn't find Satella. Instead, he sees the thief Furuto. He takes out his phone in exchange for Satella's badge, lying to the thief that his phone is a magic device to keep time by taking photos. But then he meets the buyer Elsa who pays Furuto for stealing the badge. Since Subaru joins the deal, Furuto thinks Elsa's price is too low and intends to give the badge to Subaru. Failing her deal, Elsa then violently snatches the badge. Elsa shows her amazing power, easily slashing at Old Man Ram and killing Furuto. Subaru then realizes Elsa is the one who murdered him before. Though Subaru tries to fight back, he still dies. But next second, as Subaru opens his eyes, he is on the street again. Subaru falls into a trance and has no clue about what happened to him. Suddenly he notices the sliver-haired elf and excitedly shouts out Satella's name. The elf angrily questions him about calling her Witch of Envy. Before he can react, Furuto suddenly appears and steals the elf's badge. Subaru keeps chasing the thief but happens to meet the 3 bandits in an alleyway. This time he is killed by them. Then he wakes up on the street again. After being dead and revived over and over again, Subaru finally realizes that each time he dies, time will be reset, and the silver-haired elf isn't named Satella. In order to save the silver-haired elf, he comes to Old Man Ram's house in advance. He makes a deal with Furuto by exchanging his phone for the badge, but he does not expect that the elf also comes here in advance. There erupts a disputation between the elf and Furuto. As they are arguing, the crazy killer Elsa shows up. Since it is exposed that she pays Furuto for stealing the badge, she decides to kill everyone. Old Man Ram joins the fight between the silver-haired elf and Elsa, but he is seriously injured by Elsa. Subaru asks Furuto to run away first. Elsa is so powerful that they still cannot beat her with joined forces. As everyone is about to die here, a strong ally, named Reinhard, shows up. It turns out that Furuto meets him coincidentally on her way. This just knight immediately comes to stop Elsa from killing. Reinhard is so powerful that he defeats Elsa in a few rounds. During the fight, the silver-haired elf cures Old Man Ram with a spell. When everyone thinks they are safe, Elsa ambushes the elf. At the critical moment, Subaru blocks the attack disregarding his own safety. Elsa then leaves here grudgingly. The silver-haired elf now has a favorable impression towards Subaru because he sacrificed his safety for saving her. Subaru is so excited because he finally saved a girl in this other world. He soon asks the elf to tell him the name. Amused by the humble request, the silver-haired elf tells him her name is Emilia. Just then, Subaru falls into a coma. Furuto decides to return the badge to thank Emilia for saving her. Seeing the badge, Reinhard suddenly shows an odd look. He gives the badge back to Emilia while wants to take Furuto with him. Emilia knows that as the current blade master, Reinhard is a just knight and won't hurt Furuto, so she agrees on it. Subaru wakes up in a castle with 2 cute sisters maids receiving him. The older sister with red hair is named Ram and the blue-haired is named Rem. Just then, Emilia shows up. It turns out that in order to thank him for saving her life, she took Subaru back to her house for recovering. Subaru unexpectedly gets along well with Puck, an elf that signed a contract with Emilia. At dinner time, the owner of the castle, a clown-like man named Roswell, finally shows up. Emilia's identity also gets revealed. It turns out that this country once signed a contract with dragons. Recently, the king of this country died. The weird thing is that diseases then spread over in a day, killing all of the king's descendants. So the country is temporarily governed by an organization. Now the country needs a new king and Emilia is one of the candidates. The badge she lost before is a candidate's identification. If she cannot keep the little badge, village, she is unqualified to join in the election. Roswell is the overlord of the territory nearby and an important person who supports Emilia. Because Subaru saved Emilia's life, Roswell promises to satisfy one of his requests. In order to stay with Emilia, Subaru asks for being a servant in the castle. During then, he gets to know a cute girl named Beatrice, who is the manager of the library and a powerful magician, but she has a temper and is only close to his brother Puck. Afterwards, Subaru learns to be a servant and the language of this world. Though he is badly scarred, he is still confident about the future. One night, Subaru invites Emilia for a date. Having not been so close to anyone, Emilia only agrees to see the scenery in the village down the hill in a few days. Afterwards, he finds Ram and Rem in his room when he wakes up. The wounds on his hands also disappear. He then realizes that he was killed last night, so time went back to his first day in the castle. Subaru guesses he might be killed by someone in the castle. He decides to stay in the castle to be a servant again and tries to get along well with everyone, hoping to stay alive this time, but in the end, he dies again. After another resurrection, he decides to be a guest instead of a servant. He remembers the symptoms of his previous poisoning death and asks for Beatrice's help. According to his symptoms, Beatrice guesses there may be a curse on him that absorbs his magic power. In this world, if someone is sucked out the magic power, he will be dead instantly. Soon, Subaru captures the culprit with a trap. He didn't expect it is Rem. It turns out that Rem smelled the witch on him, so she concludes that he is an enemy sent by the witch cult to lurk in the castle. Rem is so hostile to the witch cult that no matter how Subaru explains, she still ends his life. Subaru finds himself on the bed again when he wakes up. This time he looks frightened when he sees the twin maids. The maids notice his bad condition and calls Emilia. Subaru wants to tell Emilia his experience, but he can speak out no words under the pain of his heart being squeezed by invisible hands. Emilia quickly asks Beatrice to relieve his pain. Beatrice notices the witch's scent on Subaru, guessing that he might be specially treated by the witch for some reasons. Though Subaru can be revived, he can't withstand the pain of death. He hopes Beatrice can protect him, so Subaru signs a contract with Beatrice. He finally avoids the death, but afterwards, Emilia tells Subaru that Rem gets the same curse. She is dead with her magic power sucked out. Subaru then realizes he was not cursed by Rem. Since Rem dies after Subaru shows up, Ram takes him the biggest suspect and forces him to tell the truth. Now that he can't tell, he decides to save Rem's life by jumping off the cliff to get a restart. When Subaru wakes up this time, he knows that he can't hide the scent of the witch, so he can only act like an idiot to let Rem off her guard. At the same time, he asks Puck to teach him a skill to activate his magic power. With Puck's help, Subaru hides himself in the dark for the first time. As a beginner, he wastes all of his magic power and physical strength after using the skill only once. Emilia feeds him with a magic fruit. His physical strength instantly gets recovered. Afterwards, Subaru asks Beatrice about the smell on him and gets to know that the witch is actually Satella. Her strength is so terrible that it can devour half of the world. It is said that she is sealed by dragons and sages. Another important rumor is the Witch of Envy looks just like Emilia. Subaru recalls the time when Emilia took the name of Satella to scare him, but she did not expect that Subaru wasn't frightened at all since he isn't from the world. Emilia notices Subaru's innocent behavior recently and comes to comfort him. Subaru is so touched and cries. Then, Subaru falls asleep with his head pillowed on Emilia's thighs. Emilia knows that Rem is alert to Subaru, so she seriously tells Rem that he is a good boy, dispelling her suspicion. Not only for gaining Rem's trust, Subaru also wants to find the one cursed him and Rem this time. He recalls that he and Rem once went to the village before they were cursed, so he infers that the warlock might also be in the village. He learns from Beatrice that to curse someone, the warlock must touch a part of his target's body, and Beatrice can find the cursed part. Subaru then invites Rem to purchase supplies down the hill. He pays deliberate attention to everyone in contact with him. By the way, he is bitten when teasing a puppy. When they go back to the castle, Subaru asks Beatrice to check his body. The cursed part turns out to be the wound from the puppy bite. Luckily, Beatrice can dispel such a simple curse. Though he avoids death, he is worried about the kids staying with the puppy. The village down the hill belongs to Roswell. Subaru tells everything to the twins, begging Rem to save the kids in the village with him. However, they then find the kids are missing. Meanwhile, Rem notices that the barrier they set before to defend against monsters is broken, and the kids were probably taken away by the puppy from here. Subaru decides to save the kids and Rem joins him. Soon, they find the unconscious kids. Luckily, their lives are not threatened. Subaru notices there is still a kid missing. He asks Rem to take the kids back to the village and he heads to find the missing kid alone regardless of Rem's objection, thinking that he can easily deal with the puppy. However, there are actually a group of strong monsters waiting for him. As Subaru is about to die, Rem shows up in time. Though Rem has strong power, she can't resist such a large group of monsters. Just then, Rem's racial talent is awakened, causing her to be furious. When Rem is about to be ambushed, Subaru pushes her away and soon gets bitten by numerous monsters, slipping into a coma. Seeing this, Rem bursts to tears. She defeated the monsters and keeps calling out Subaru's name. Subaru finds himself in the castle when he wakes up again. He knows from Puck that Emilia healed him with her magic power. Before he can breathe a sigh of relief, he gets a bad news from Beatrice that there are many complex curses on him after he was bitten by the monsters in the forest, which Beatrice cannot dispel. It means that Subaru can only save himself by killing the monsters that cursed him. And Beatrice tells Subaru that Rem tried to kill all the monsters to save him, but she was not powerful enough. Hearing this, Rem decides to go with Subaru to save her little sister Rem. On their way, Subaru gets to know the twins are from Oni no Ketsuzoku. Normally, Onis have 2 horns on their heads, but they only have 1 when they were born. Ram lost hers in an accident when she was young, so she is weak and can only cast simple wind magics. But Rem can awaken the Oni's instinct with her horn, casting powerful spells to strengthen herself. They have to prevent Rem from acting recklessly because casting the spells improperly will cause serious injuries to herself. Soon after, Subaru gets an idea. When Subaru went to save the kids last time, he discovered that the monsters could find him through the scent of the witch. And the scent intensifies every time he gets resurrected or tries to tell someone the truth. So he plans to attract the monsters with it and Rem will show up as well. When he is about to tell Ram about his resurrection, his heart is squeezed by the horrible black hands again. As a result, his plan works, but there are so many monsters that he and Ram are almost attacked to death. Luckily, Rem arrives in time, but she has already become an Oni and cannot distinguish between companions and enemies. Ram asks Subaru to try to attack Rem's horn so that Rem can be awakened from being an Oni. Finally, he makes it. Rem comes to her sense and wants to attract the monsters away by herself. Subaru forcibly stops her, but they will die here if nobody leads the monsters away. Subaru decides to do that with the witch's scent on him. Rem doesn't know why Subaru saved her. He pats on Rem's head and says that because she is his first date, Rem is deeply touched. Afterwards, Ram runs away with Rem while Subaru is heading to the opposite. The puppy shows its strong power, turning into a huge monster dog. Subaru hides himself in the dark with the hidden magic learned from Puck and slashes at the monster dog. But this monster cannot be easily defeated by common weapons. Soon, Subaru falls into danger. At this moment, Roswell arrives and kills the monster with a flame magic, saving Subaru's life. Rem can no longer hold her affection and rushes to hug Subaru. From now on, Subaru is one of the most important persons in Rem's life. Since Subaru is not good at casting spells, he has overused his strength and harms himself. When he is sleeping, Rem stays next to him as she feels so guilty. When Subaru wakes up, he softly encourages her. She temporarily stops blaming on herself. At night, Roswell has Ram in his arms and heals her with magic power. He says to himself that he must win the election for the day of killing the dragons. Meanwhile, Subaru finds Emilia and can finally invite her for a date in the village with ease after he solved every problem. Along with Subaru, Emilia gets along well with the children of the village. As mentioned earlier, because it is said Emilia's silver-haired look is the same as the Witch of Envy's, ordinary people are unwilling to get close to her at all. This state makes Emilia happier and more relaxed than ever. Emilia has a secret meeting with several visitors after she comes back from the village. Subaru knows from the butler, Wilhelm, that these visitors are related to the election and they ask Emilia to go to the capital. Subaru wants to go with Emilia to help her. Knowing the danger of the election, Emilia does not want to get Subaru involved, but Roswell intends to be on Subaru's side. He suggests that Subaru may get better treatment in the capital, since he got hurt in the forest after fighting against the monsters with magic, and they can also visit Old Man Ram in passing, who fought against the enemies with them before. Emilia then takes Rem and Subaru to the capital. Emilia never allows Subaru to get involved in any issues related to the election. Instead, he is only asked to rest well and get recovered, but Subaru is confident that he can help Emilia, so he sneaks into the palace on the day of a meeting before the election. Emilia has no choice but to keep Subaru at the palace temporarily. As I said before, the king of the kingdom has died and it is now governed by an organization, so this meeting is held by them. There are 4 candidates for the election. They are Anastasia, Priscilla, Crush, and Amelia. But according to the latest prophecy on the stone left by the dragons, there should be 5 candidates. The meeting is held today because Reinhard has found the last candidate. To Subaru and Amelia's surprise, this candidate is actually the thief, Furuto. It turns out that when Reinhard saw the badge that Furuto had stolen was shining in her hands, he confirmed that Furuto was the last prophesied candidate, and now Reinhard has officially become the guardian of Furuto. Now that all the candidates have been found, the king's election is going to officially begin. But some of the ministers look down upon Furuto because she was born in the slum, as well as the silver-haired elf Amelia, who looks like the witch in the legend. Hearing this, Subaru speaks up for Amelia and lies that he is Amelia's knight. At this moment, one of the kingdom's knights, Julius, says that knights are sacred, but Subaru looks so weak that he isn't like a knight at all. An argument ensues between Subaru and Julius. Amelia quickly indicates that Subaru is not her man, and expels him from the palace. After Subaru left the palace, Old Man Ram rushes into the palace to save Furuto as he thinks she was kidnapped, but he then gets captured by the knights. Furuto does not want to join in the election, but she has no choice if she wants to save Old Man Ram. Julius challenges Subaru to a duel for his insulting to the knights in public. Subaru has been hating Julius, plus he thinks he is powerful enough to fight against Julius after several deadly adventures. However, he is faced with the leader of the knights. Undoubtedly, Subaru gets beat up hard. This event causes an argument between Amelia and Subaru. Subaru believes that he can protect Amelia after he was resurrected and saved Amelia for so many times. But Amelia doesn't know any of it, still taking Subaru as an ordinary man with no use in the election. So she thinks everything Subaru did is for gaining fame. Finally, Amelia decides to leave Subaru in the city to get recovered, and she herself goes back to the castle. Subaru and Rem are arranged to stay in one of the candidates' Crush's house and get healed by Crush's knight, Felix. Several days later, Rem comes to Subaru, looking worried. By telepathy, she senses her older sister and Amelia are in danger. Subaru wants to save Amelia. Having saved Amelia for many times, he thinks that he is bound to succeed this time, but Crush does not think so. In her opinion, compared with the powerful ones in the castle, Subaru is just an ordinary person. He can do nothing, especially in a severe crisis. Such disdainful words arouse his ambition. He immediately goes back to the castle with Rem. On their way back, the white whale, a super monster in this world, creates the white mist, in which they'll be dying, so they have to spend some time detouring. When they are taking a rest, Rem hypnotizes Subaru with an excuse of healing him. It turns out that Rem has a premonition that going back to the castle will be extremely dangerous this time. When Subaru wakes up, he reads Rem's letter. He feels so remorseful and hurries to the castle crazily, but still misses the best timing. The corpses are everywhere. The villagers, his companions, including Rem and Ram, are all died in the fight. As he desperately shouts out Amelia's name, he accidentally notices a secret path and follows in. As a result, he is frozen to death by the bitter cold in the path. But soon, Subaru is resurrected again. He suffers a sort of breakdown and becomes dull after those experiences. Felix cannot figure out what's wrong with Subaru. As Subaru keeps calling Amelia's name, Rem decides to take him back to the castle, hoping to bring him back to his sense. On their way back to the castle, Rem receives the risk warning from Ram through telepathy. Then their carriage is attacked by the witch cult and Subaru is captured. Subaru sees a strange man who calls himself the high priest of the witch cult and is named Betelgeuse. It turns out that the witch's scent misleads him to take Subaru as a man close to the witch. Just then, Rem comes to save Subaru. However, Rem is totally no match for Betelgeuse. He easily breaks Rem's body in a few rounds. At this moment, Subaru finally comes to some of his senses, insanely trying to free himself, but he is just an ordinary man. Betelgeuse does not hurt this weak boy, just letting him alone. Unexpectedly, Rem has a strong desire to save Subaru. She breaks the shackle on him with her last magic power and last breath. She confesses her feelings to Subaru, wishing him to stay alive. Subaru holds Rem's body and walks towards the castle. Unlike last time, it is snowing heavily. The corpses of the villagers are along the way. When he sees Ram's body, Subaru seems to foresee the plight in the castle. As he comes to the castle's door, a huge monster shows up and beheads him as it says, "Go to sleep with my daughter." He dies again. This time Subaru wakes up on the street. He comes to his senses and holds Rem's hands tight, like she will disappear next second. After being dead twice these days, he roughly figures out what's going on. Amelia's castle might be attacked by the witch cult, and the reason may be related to her silver-haired and half-elf appearance. Subaru knows that he is not powerful enough to fight against the witch cult, so he tries to team up with other candidates, but he has nothing except courage and he can't promise to bring any benefits, so no one is willing to cooperate with him. Subaru can only hurry to the castle with Rem by the shortest path to inform his companions of leaving, but on this way, they encounter the horrible huge monster white whale which is attracted by the witches sent on Subaru. In order to save his life, Rem sacrifices herself again to resist the white whale. The white whale has a special skill. The one swallowed by the white whale's mists will be wiped out in others' memories. When Subaru finally gets back to the castle, his companions all forget about Rem, but he doesn't. That may be related to the witch's scent again. Thinking about Rem sacrificing herself again to save him and being forgotten by everyone, Subaru nearly breaks down, but what he has to do now is to take Emilia away from the castle. Unfortunately, Emilia can't understand what Subaru said at all and she doesn't want to leave. In desperation, he decides to sacrifice himself by telling the truth that he can be resurrected again and again. However, the black hands do not reach Subaru this time. Instead, it squeezes Emilia's heart into pieces. Meanwhile, Beatrice shows up. She throws the weak Subaru out of the castle. When Subaru still feels sad, the high priest hiding in the darkness shows up, whose target is exactly Emilia. Seeing Subaru being so affectionate, the high priest deliberately damages Emilia's body in front of Subaru. At this critical moment, the real Puck comes out. It turns out that Puck signed a contract with Emilia that if the contract is broken, Puck will destroy the whole world. Puck instantly freezes the whole world with the strongest spell. Subaru dies again of it. Then he is back on the street. All the failures have left Subaru feeling totally deflated. He takes Rem to the rooftop. Subaru no longer has his original confidence. He just wants to escape from the horrible reality. He invites Rem, the only one who trusts him, to leave here together. Rem feels a little desirable, but still seriously rejects his invitation. In fact, Rem has a strong affection for Subaru and has also dreamed about getting married and having children with him, but she can tell from the look on his face that he actually doesn't want to leave. Subaru is a perfect man in Rem's heart. She hopes he can live an ideal life instead of escaping from the reality due to his horror. In other people's opinions, Subaru dare not try anything, but he clearly knows that he has experienced the cycle of being dead and alive for many times. Though he tried to change the reality with all his effort, he only gained a breakdown in the end. Now he is continuously blaming himself as a loser. In order to comfort him, Rem points out his advantages and gives him a kiss to encourage him. Rem's trust and comfort brings Subaru back from his sadness. Looking at Rem's face, Subaru dimly sees the cute face of Emilia. He sincerely tells Rem that he likes Emilia and he will not allow his beloved girl to be in danger. Subaru reaches out his hand, inviting Rem to fight against this cruel world with him. Seeing Subaru being confident again, Rem smiles and nods her head. After bouncing back, Subaru becomes organized. He has a talk with Crush again. According to what he sees after being revived for so many times, Crush is recruiting in the castle. Subaru guesses she is preparing to deal with the horrible monster white whale. He precisely knows the trace of the white whale, and he can attract it with the scent of which. What's more, he uses a negotiation skill to team up with Crush by giving out some of his mining rights in Roswell's land. He thinks that it is a good deal to use these minerals in exchange for everyone's life. Subaru plans to fight against the witch cult with the allies to save Emilia after killing the white whale. Crush has a special ability that she can tell if someone is lying by the breath floating around when he is speaking. She sees that Subaru isn't lying to her. Plus it will be helpful for her election if they successfully slay the white whale. So she teams up with Subaru without hesitation. Besides, another candidate, Anastasia, a leader of a merchants organization, also joins in the combat because the white whale brought heavy losses in her business. The team is formed up and their soldiers are also well deployed to deal with the white whale. There is someone special among them, Wilhelm. He fell in love with a female blade master when he was young. He tried his best to practice the swordplay, and when he defeated this female blade master, they quickly fell in love with each other, becoming an enviable couple. Unfortunately, his wife died when fighting against the white whale. After that, he never gets married again. His only goal is to kill the white whale himself to take revenge for his wife. Subaru's information is such a great help for him. At this moment, the white whale is attracted by the witch's scent and appears in the sky. Subaru charges with Rem, and Crush's army launches the attacks as well, but their skills can only do tiny harm to the white whale. Wilhelm changes the tactic in time. Wilhelm has terrible powers. He throws himself to the white whale and slashes at it with his mysterious swordplay, and other companions also start attacking with their unique skills. Continuously being attacked, the white whale becomes furious, roaring and using the super powerful skill. In an instant, the white mists envelop this area. Subaru turns around and finds most of his companions losing their power and falling to the ground. More terrifyingly, the white whale splits into 3 on the battlefield. At this rate, Subaru's team will definitely suffer a humiliating defeat. At this moment, Subaru notices that there are only 2 white whales attacking on the ground, while another is dodging the attacks in the air, which may be the real white whale. He then gets a dangerous idea. Rem throws Subaru into the sky with skills to attract the real white whale's attention. At the critical moment, Subaru shouts out his secret about resurrection. The black hands again grab Subaru's heart. The witch's scent instantly gets stronger, attracting the white whale to attack Subaru. His allies take the chance to attack it, defeating the real white whale while Rem goes to save Subaru. Meanwhile, Crush orders to cut down a huge tree nearby. When the white whale gets crushed down to the ground, Wilhelm gives it a final shot, successfully taking the revenge for his wife. After the fight, Crush shows her respect to Subaru. Now in her eyes, Subaru is no longer a weak boy but a hero who killed the white whale and saved countless people's lives. She leaves some of her troops with Subaru as promised to save Emilia in the castle. Noticing that Rem has got seriously injured in the battle, Subaru patiently persuades Rem to be back to the capital and get treatment. Julius is so impressed by Subaru at killing the white whale. Their conflict soon gets resolved. Then, Subaru reveals the information about the witch cult's haunt, setting out to eliminate the witch cult. With the memories of his last cycle, Subaru quickly finds the secret base of the High Priest and Wilhelm quietly kills him. They find a book on the High Priest, which is said to be the proof of worshipping the witch cult. Subaru keeps the book and hurries to the castle. However, they are ambushed on the way again. It turns out that the high priest of the witch cult can control bodies with special physical constitution. Luckily, Julius leaves tiny elves to protect Subaru, so he doesn't get hurt. They guess that the high priest still has many separations, which means their companions in the castle are in danger. Back on the road, Subaru is attacked by Ram. It then turns out to be a misunderstanding. Before setting out, Subaru asked Rem to write a letter to the castle, telling Ram and others about the alliance. However, what they received is a blank paper. In this world, sending a blank paper means a duel. Therefore, Ram mistook him as a traitor. After explaining everything, Subaru goes to the village down the hill with Ram, persuading the villagers to evacuate, but there is an accident again. It turns out that there are some believers of the witch cult infiltrating into the village. They put a large amount of fire magic stones on the wagons, which causes a huge explosion and the village soon falls into destruction. The high priest takes the chance to attack them again by controlling other bodies. At this critical moment, Emilia arrives and uses a powerful skill with Puck to defeat the high priest. However, Subaru suddenly trembles and rushes to the forest insanely. Seeing this strange situation, Julius and Felix quickly follow him. It turns out that when the high priest is killed by Emilia, he instantly takes Subaru's body. In order not to become the encumbrance, Subaru begs his companions to kill him. Finally, Julius ends Subaru's life considering the situation. Then, Subaru wakes up at the point of setting out to kill the High Priest. He shares the information to his allies that the High Priest can control others. Julius guesses that this magic can only be used on specific ones, such as the believers of the witch cult. Now that they are aware of the High Priest's weakness, they change the tactic. Subaru changes his look and goes to the castle with Wilhelm to tell Emilia about the witch cult, asking Emilia to take refuge with the villagers. After that, Subaru catches the believer hidden in the villager according to his memory, and sends his companions to deal with the bodies controlled by the high priest. Finally, Subaru comes to the secret base of the high priest. To get more information, he lies that he wants to join the witch cult, due to the witches sent on him. He is soon trusted and gets to know that the witch cult targets Emilia, because they want Emilia to be the medium for the witches landing on this world again. After getting the answer, Subaru starts his attack and draws the high priest to a deserted place. Perhaps Subaru is chosen by the witch, only he can see the high priest's magic. And Julius is not only a knight, but also an elf master. With tiny elves, he builds a telepathy with Subaru to see what Subaru sees. Finally, they kill the high priest together. The high priest also wants to control Subaru this time, but Subaru sees it through and kicks the high priest out of his body. Then Julius pierces through the high priest's heart with the sword. Meanwhile, Subaru receives a bad news. There is a hidden fire magic stone on Emilia's wagon, which may explode at any time. Subaru quickly rushes to it but meets the high priest, who isn't completely dead and has turned to be a monster. The witches sent on Subaru keeps the priest following him. Suddenly, the book from the high priest comes to Subaru's mind. He writes the letters of ending life on the book, and the high priest finally gives up following him, disappearing completely. Subaru catches Emilia's wagon. She gets confused as Subaru takes out the hidden fire magic stone and throws it into the white whale's body nearby. In an instant, the fire rushes towards the air and Subaru is hit to the ground by the explosion. He finally saves his beloved girl. When Subaru opens his eyes, he is lying on Emilia's thighs. After knowing what happened recently, Emilia is deeply touched. She asks Subaru why he did so much for her. Subaru answers with simple words, "Because I like you." At this moment, Emilia bursts into tears. Everyone hates her since she was born because her appearance is similar with the rumored witches. She never expects to be liked in this world. Subaru is like a light in her life, igniting her hope for the future. Emilia does not know how to respond to Subaru since she has never been liked. But this moment, they know that they both love each other. After solving the problem, Subaru starts worrying about other things. Rem once confessed her love to him, and he seems to like Rem as well. He decides to tell Emilia the truth, hoping to date with both of them at the same time. But when he mentions Rem's name, Emilia asks him who is Rem with confusion. Subaru gets shocked. That brings the end of the story. From the fight with the white whale, we know there is a magic in this world that can totally erase the one who got killed from others' memories. If it is real, Rem may encounter an accident on her way back to the capital after she killed the white whale. It seems that Subaru's adventure in the different world is not over. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please comment below to help my channel out. See you next time. Bye!